Subston.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'm very pleased to speak on behalf of the National Caucus in this Waitangi National Trust Bill. The colleagues before me from both sides of the House, Mr Speaker, have gone through the history in quite a lot of detail, but I did want to just bring one extra point to the House. Minister Chris Finlayson talked about the original members of the very first Trust Board, one of whom was Vernon Reid. Vernon Reid became a Member of Parliament in the Bay of Islands from 1908. He is the grandfather of my father's wife, Kirsty Reid. So I have a very interesting connection to the Williams family. And I do want to say, having been involved in many discussions with Kirsty and her family, and they have portrayed the stories of that time, to really just acknowledge each and every one of the members of both the original board of the Waitangi National Trust, but every single member who has served since that time, because what they have really done is allowed, and obviously Lord and Lady Bledisloe themselves, but they have really allowed a very important part of New Zealand's history to be maintained, restored, so that whether it's school children visiting as part of their education about Waitangi, whether it is the pilgrimage of many, many New Zealanders for Waitangi Day, they have really preserved a treasure that is important to all Kiwis. One of the other things, Mr Speaker, that was interesting when my stepmother Kirsty was going through some of the history and bringing out some of the books that were written at the time, including one by Vernon Reid. Looking through some of the photos, I was intrigued to read the name Tauhenare. Of course, that was Tauhenare's great-grandfather, who I have since learned was a great friend of Vernon Reid's. And so it's somewhat interesting to then see that two descendants, albeit connected through marriage, are serving in the House of Parliament now. And I do want to acknowledge my colleague, if he's listening, Honourable Tauhenare, who's muttering. I want to acknowledge his service to this House over a significant period of time, and acknowledge his announcement of his intention to retire from Parliament in this upcoming election. He has served New Zealand very well, and I'm very proud that his forefathers served with an extended member of my family in this House and have allowed this national treasure to be maintained. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Waitangi National Trust Board Amendment Bill, first reading.
The question is that the Waitangi National Trust Board Amendment Bill be considered by the Maori Affairs Committee. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Call on Government Order of the Day number 2.
Mona Haruru